The wind moves through broken arches. Dust drifts where cheers once thundered. 2,000 years later, the Colosseum still stands, half ruin, half miracle. Tourists walk where emperors once sat, cameras click where lions once roared. But beneath its beauty, the air still feels heavy, like the stone remembers. Every crack tells a story of blood, sweat, and fire. It isn't just a building. It's a ghost of an empire that mastered the impossible and then forgot how it did it. Because the greatest wonder of Rome isn't that they built the Colosseum. It's that we, with all our machines and math, still can't truly recreate it. The birth of a monument. The Emperor's Promise. The story begins in 70 AD, after years of chaos. Nero, the mad emperor, was dead. His palace, the Domus Aurea, had devoured half of Rome. The people were starving. The empire was bleeding. Then came Vespasian, a soldier emperor with a simple plan: give the people back their city. He drained Nero's artificial lake, filled the valley with stone, and promised something the people could call their own. A gift, a spectacle, a symbol. A theater for the gods and the mob alike. Its name would come later. At first, it was simply called the Amphitheater Flavium, the Flavian Amphitheater. But soon the world would know it by another name, the Colosseum. The dream in stone. Vespasian ordered construction on a scale Rome had never seen. No emperor had dared such a project, not after the Great Fire, not after rebellion. Yet this new amphitheater would rise not from luxury, but from power reborn. He wanted it in the heart of the city, where Nero's private lake once glittered. He wanted every citizen to see it and remember. The palace of one man had become the playground of all Rome. It was a political act carved in marble, monument, and message at once. The builders of empire. The forgotten hands. Tens of thousands of men built the Colosseum, but history rarely names them. Slaves from conquered lands, Judea, Gaul, Carthage. Prisoners of war from the rebellion crushed by Titus, Vespasian's son. They carried stone, hauled iron, mixed mortar until their hands bled white. They were the silent army behind Rome's glory, the ones who never entered the arena except as corpses. Every block they lifted was both a triumph and chained. The materials of majesty. The foundation was travertine, a limestone quarried from the hills of Tivoli. Each block weighed more than 5 tons. Hundreds of ox-drawn wagons rolled day and night to bring them to the city. The core was filled with Roman concrete, a secret recipe of lime, volcanic ash, and seawater. Unlike modern concrete, it grew stronger with time. The walls rose tier by tier, bound together not with nails or glue, but with precision and iron clamps sealed in molten lead. Every arch distributed weight like a perfect equation. Every corridor aligned to guide 50,000 souls through the gates in minutes. No blueprints, no cranes like ours, only geometry, discipline, and the hidden world below. Beneath the arena lay the Hypogeum, 2 stories of tunnels, cages, and lifts. Here, slaves waited in darkness, pushing wooden winches and counterweights that raised wild beasts and gladiators into the light. Doors burst open, floors split apart, and the stage transformed in an instant, from desert to forest, from sea to battlefield. Engineers used pulleys, cranes, and trapdoors in perfect synchronization. What looked like magic was mathematics. To the crowd, it was divine spectacle. To those beneath, it was hell. The day Rome roared. The grand opening. In 80 AD, under Emperor Titus, the Colosseum opened with 100 days of games. Dawn to dusk, the arena ran red. 5,000 animals were killed in the first week. Hundreds of men fought to the death. The people cheered, intoxicated by power. The power to watch life end and call it entertainment. And in the emperor's box, Titus smiled. He had given Rome what it craved, glory wrapped in blood. The theater of empire. To Rome, the Colosseum was more than sport. It was ceremony. The empire displayed its dominion through flesh and spectacle. Exotic beasts from Africa, elephants from India, bears from the Alps, brought across oceans just to die before the crowd. Conquered peoples paraded, mocked, and executed as symbols of Rome's victory. Even death became propaganda. The games reminded the masses that Rome ruled not only men, but nature, time, and fate itself. The Colosseum was not built to honor gods. It was built to replace them. The secrets of its strength. Rome's lost science. The Colosseum still stands because the Romans built it to outlast memory. Its secret lies in its materials. Modern concrete cracks and decays. Roman concrete heals itself. When moisture enters the stone, chemical reactions patch the fractures. Scientists today still study the formula: lime, ash from Mount Vesuvius, and seawater drawn from the Mediterranean. Even time cannot undo it. The Romans called it opus caementicium. To them, it was not invention. It was divine knowledge, a gift from Vulcan, god of fire. And perhaps they were right. Because 20 centuries later, we can build higher, faster, brighter, but not stronger. We can't make concrete that grows harder with age. We can't build without steel and yet resist earthquakes. We can't craft beauty meant to last for millennia. Rome did all three. The geometry of eternity. Every arch in the Colosseum follows the golden ratio, natural harmony between height and width. Its columns alternate in three classical orders: Doric, Ionic, Corinthian, a symphony of stone. Even its ruins still hold proportions so perfect that artists and architects have copied them for centuries. It was not designed by one man, but by a civilization that believed art and power were the same thing. The fall of the arena. From glory to grave. As the centuries passed, the cheers faded. By the 5th century, the games had ended. Christian emperors condemned them as cruelty, unfit for the new faith. The arena fell silent. Earthquakes cracked its foundations. Fires blackened its arches. Barbarians stripped its marble to build their own kingdoms. Even the Vatican borrowed its stones to raise St. Peter's. The Colosseum was wounded but unbroken, and when the sun rose each morning, it still cast its shadow across the city that once owned the world. The memory of blood. Medieval pilgrims called it the ghost of Rome. They believed the ground was haunted by the souls of those who died there. They weren't wrong. The sand that once soaked blood still lies beneath the floor. The walls still echo the noise of 50,000 hearts beating as one. It stands today as both masterpiece and warning. What greatness looks like when built on suffering. Why we still can't recreate it. The knowledge we lost. The Romans built for eternity. We build for efficiency. Their engineers worked with patience and precision that bordered on devotion. Every arch was hand-measured, every joint hand-set. Every craftsman knew his labor would outlive him and his children. We've forgotten how to build like that because we no longer think like that. Our world moves too fast, chasing profit over permanence. The Colosseum was built not by machines, but by belief. Belief in empire, in order, in legacy. When Rome fell, that belief vanished, and so did its art. The modern illusion. We could rebuild its shape, yes. We could pour concrete, print blueprints, recreate the tiers, but we could never rebuild its soul. Because the Colosseum was not just architecture, it was ideology made stone, a civilization's heartbeat carved into geometry. Every arch spoke of discipline, every pillar of hierarchy, every shadow of power. What we have now are ruins. What they had was purpose. That's why it endures and why our monuments crumble within a century. The echo of stone. Stand inside the Colosseum at dusk. The light falls through broken arches, painting the dust gold. The city hums beyond its walls, unaware that beneath their feet lies the skeleton of a world that once believed it was eternal. Listen carefully, and you can still hear it. The creak of winches, the grind of iron, the distant roar of a crowd drunk on power and fear. For Rome, it was triumph. For history, it was a confession. They built it to prove they could master time. And maybe in a way, they did. Because 2,000 years later, we still look at the Colosseum and wonder not how they built it, but how a world so brutal could leave behind something so beautiful. The empire fell. The gods vanished. The blood has dried. But the stone remains. And it still whispers, "We were here, and we were mighty."